Welcome to our YouTube channel on Success and Women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon. Welcome to this week's episode of Success and Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to be talking about the 50 questions that women should ask themselves to bring out the best in themselves. But before we get started, Andrea's got her tip for the week.
Well, ladies, this week we're going to talk about self-care. So I was thinking of what we could do to make our daily routine more natural. And right now the lips are dry, the weather's changing. So I found this natural one that you use. You take Vaseline and you mix it with your favorite flavored powdered drink. So if you have lemon, like, the Crystal Lights, it could even be sugar-free. And you put that in a little container, carry it with you, put it on your lips, and it's a natural lip balm, has no parabens, and the Vaseline's great for the dry and the cracked lips.
That's a fantastic tip, Andrea. So, ladies, try it. So I love that tip, Andrea. But before we get started, ladies, on the questions that you need to ask yourself to bring out the best of yourself, I have to share a little something. Recently, yay, if you have a look at this, I have my first trophy ever with my name on it for something that I actually did on my own. I love team sports because usually I'm the weak link, and I love being on a winning team. But I was actually able to pull this off by myself in golf, and I'm thrilled to have a trophy with my name on. And I know sometimes, yeah. So, sometimes people will have their kids and they're in all kinds of competitions and they got practically a trophy room for all the trophies. Ooh. Well, I've never had one. It's got a place of honor right now in my apartment, so that if anybody comes over, they can see it. I'm so proud of myself. And at this age, that makes me happy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What makes me happy? What makes me happy? One of the things is winning. Yay. But you have to be happy in whatever you're doing, right?
Right.
So, Andrea, I'm going to ask you. And before I start that, I have to tell you, recently I had lunch with somebody, a friend of mine, and believe it or not, at lunchtime, he said to me, "How happy are you?"
Wow.
Andrea, I never get people asking me this. So this was a biggie in that sense. And the only other time I've ever heard sort of people asking is an episode one time of Frasier, where I don't know if it was Niles asking Frasier or Frasier asking Niles, asking if they were happy. Well, he wanted to know not only if I was happy, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy was I?
Wow.
And without thinking, I said 20. Like, why wouldn't I be happy? I love my life.
Yeah.
I think overall, I've got my health, I've got good friends, I've got my family, but why wouldn't I be happy? And it was just interesting when we decided we would talk about this, because it's true. You have to make yourself happy before you can really, I'll say, take out the best of everything else that life has to offer. So right. I'm going to ask you, Andrea, first of all, are you happy? And what makes you happy?
Yes, I'm happy. You feel like every day is the same when you're at home. But I mean, when I look at my life, I'm very happy that I've done what I've wanted to do my whole life, is to stay home and raise my family. I mean, I never enjoyed getting up and going to work. That was, I hated that with a passion, because it wasn't something I loved. Like if I had to get up and go sing on stage or dance, I would have been so happy, but that wasn't in the cards, right? And yeah, I'm generally very happy, and we get to do things that we love to do. And what I love to do is travel, and I love to be with my family. So those are two things that make me happy. So you have to make the most of it. So when I have a chance to travel, I travel. And like when we had the opportunity to go to China, we went. And at first I don't know, and my husband was like, no, go, and then all of us ended up going. That was phenomenal. When I had a chance to go to Israel with the church, I took it. And I didn't sit back. Okay, some might say, oh, well, if you have the money, but if you prepare for it, if you are working, you can always, have a little stash on the side that you're putting away 50, 100, whatever dollars a week, a month. And it wasn't really that expensive, when you think about the length of time, because they're usually all included. So you know exactly what you're going to spend if you go with a group. So that's what I do. And then when I can have my family here for every occasion, I do. Yeah, you get tired, doing all the work, but once it's done and you're sitting and enjoying the family, then you're happy.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because having a family around and they're close by, so it's good for you. Because I live alone, and being with other people makes me happy as well. And, right now I've had the opportunity to have a friend over visiting for 10 days. And what makes me really happy, I have to admit, I'm a competitive spirit, that I love to play games because I like to win. And you can't win if you don't play. And it doesn't bring me happiness not to try. And sometimes people say, well, I don't care if I win or lose. It's not the point of winning or losing. I'm an okay loser. I'm a way better winner, but it's the point of trying, because that makes me happy. And, having somebody here, we've been playing cards every night. And sometimes we've snuck in a game during the day. And that makes me happy, because I love playing cards. I mean, or even if it's a board game, I would, but we've just been playing cards. But, if with my
It's
other
the
family, it's
social.
just, yeah, you know what? And that's the thing. And, Andrea, they always talk about having social in your life for longevity.
Yes.
And, part of making me happy and keeping me happy is staying healthy, so I can live a long, healthy life. And if that means that I could always have a social group to continue to play cards or board games or dice or something, just for that interaction, I'll be there with a smile on my face all the time.
And that's what people have to do. They have to look at their life and say, okay, if I am not happy, if I'm like bored to tears at night, or, I don't like my job, I'm not happy getting up in the morning, then you have to sit back and think about it and say, okay, how can I change this? Maybe take on part-time hours if that's possible, or take a nighttime course that might help you change what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's always something to help you. Or now with all the online stuff going on, do you have something that you could sell online or preach online or podcasts? That there's different ways now to make money. And I was talking to my daughter about that the other day, because she's a dancer. And no, don't get me wrong, she loves her job and she goes all the time. But I said to her, as you're getting older, it's wearing on her body. And now she has her son and whatever. And I said, look at doing something like that, something online that you could teach online. So there's ways to think about it, and then at home, if you're bored at home, and get a group together, like you say, a bunch of girls, have a card night, join a bowling team, curling. Remember, we curled.
Oh, that used to be fun.
Yeah. And Friday nights at any club is usually just fun night.
Fun night, yep.
Social night. So look into things like that. If you enjoy any other kind of sport, they're there, and they're there for our age groups. you know,
But,
so.
but you, and
at
you're
home
right.
And complain that, you know, you're bored or your life's not happy. Well, change it. There's
The
ways.
thing is, Andrea, you said something really profound there. If you're not happy, because one of the things I think sometimes people forget is that other people can't make them happy. If
No,
they don't have happiness within themselves, you can't expect that somebody is always going to be there to entertain you so that, you know, that brings you a smile. If you're not happy, find out why you're not happy. Find
right.
out what you need to do to make those changes. And sometimes if you just need even that break of putting on a funny movie or a funny
Yeah,
sitcom to get yourself back in a good mood, a good frame of
right,
mind, and be happy for even that moment in time. And then figure out when you're not happy, why are you not happy?
right.
What's going on in
No,
your life?
I
Sometimes
know.
people say disappointment, you know,
Yeah.
but
Like,
change it.
change it. And like, I have a bunch of people that I know, they love that Bachelorette and The Bachelor. So
Yes.
they make it once a week. The girls get together, they have cheese and crackers and wine, and they have something to look forward to. Some women I know have a book club once
Yeah.
a week, you know, so find something that interests you. And it's funny because sometimes, like, you know, I might be bored and Eddie will say, well, you want to watch a movie? Nah, I don't know. But once he puts it on and you get into it, it changes everything, you know, so be open to doing things that maybe you don't really feel like doing, but try it and see how it might change your mood, you know. So there's all kinds of ways to think about changing your state of mind, especially
Well,
for.
yeah. And I was going to say, when my friend asked me about that, and he was a bit taken aback. He was quite surprised. And I looked at him and I said, why? Aren't you happy? And he goes, not really.
Ooh,
And yeah, and it was quite surprising to me. I don't know him well. He's not a close friend, but he's close enough where we meet up once or twice a year.
right,
And it was interesting because I think for some reason now he's starting to think about his own happiness. And as we get older, it's becoming more important. What would make me happy? And
right,
then thinking about and reflecting on your life, why he wasn't happy. And
right.
now he has to start thinking about that.
Well, you know, Linda, what that could be too is because maybe you don't understand, you don't have kids, that sometimes we do as women put the family before us and the children before us. And if you're not happy, you know, going here, like I spent my life practically at the dance studio and dance company. Now that made me extremely happy. If I had
It wasn't a chore for you.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
So if I had had sons and had to go to a hockey arena, that would not have made me happy. So, you know, I would have said, no, you want your sons to play hockey, you take them, you know, so you have to be firm in what you're doing because then it becomes a burden. You become bitter. You start yelling at your kids or your husband or whatever, and you're not happy. So if you're not somebody who likes maybe hockey or soccer or dance, don't maybe get your children involved so much. Or if you do have somebody who is going, that I had a friend that I used to pick up her daughter and take her all the time because it wasn't her thing. And I didn't mind. My kids, they were friends, they were in their groups, and we had a lot of fun. I loved it, you know. So the arts makes me happy, you know, music, dance, and going out and you know, exploring or you know, different countries, seeing different history. So you have to try to find those things that make you happy.
Even I think sometimes just taking that time, because you know, one of my friends, she's an avid reader and she's in her glory, in her element, if she can be reading. She
Right.
just loves to read. And she looks forward to when spring is, where she can go sit on the patio, get some sunshine and read a book. She said, that's my happy place when she
Mhm.
gets lost in a story. And I mean, I know for me, when I do get a really good book, I can't put it down. And actually, ladies, I'm just going to put this out there because I read a good book when Andrea and I were on a cruise in
Yes,
January,
attest
and
to
it was
that.
called
I
What?
I said, and I can attest to that because anytime I tried to find her, she was reading that book.
Oh my God. It was called Lessons in Chemistry. It was so good. And then I found out it had been on the New York bestseller. I don't go looking for books. They kind of find me. And that was a book that found me in the library on the ship because there were a lot. And I just kind of wandered around and I was gravitated to ones that looked like they might be a fun book to read because of the picture. But it was so amazing. And the reviews were, they were, the reviews were kind of almost were consistent in the worst thing about the book was that it ended.
And mhm.
Because while you read the book, it would put you in a happy place if you enjoy reading and if you enjoy stories. And it was so well done. Lessons in Chemistry. It's like, if you like to read, it's a book I would definitely recommend. And I don't recommend a lot because we all have different tastes. I just felt like it would come across for a lot of different people's style of reading.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, I love to read. I don't have a lot of time, but even without reading, I'm happy anyway. I'm happy if I'm in the kitchen getting to cook for somebody. I'm happy when I get to play a game of cards either before or after dinner, because I have a chance to win and love those bragging rights. But again, I don't throw a tantrum when I lose. I just try harder, but I always try hard. I have to tell you, even in curling, when we were getting to that point of being slaughtered, I always told my team, nope, we're not giving up. It's either practice or, you know what, we're going to have a good comeback. And Andrea, you've seen some ends where all of a sudden, bang, things happen. And all of a sudden it's like, what?
Yes.
We won? I mean.
Well, and especially at our level, like maybe in the professional level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, you're not going to get.
I'm talking average.
But our level, yes, anything could happen. You could have a 6-7 ender and come out on top, that's the joy
and
of
that makes me extremely happy. Although I have to say, one of the things that I found out at a curling rink, they have a certain conservative protocol, and you have to be careful on how happy you are when you get a point or you knock somebody out or whatever. It's like, that has to stay almost in an inside voice more than an outside. And of course, I'm such a expressive person. I get really excited. And of course, I found out in the beginning that we're not supposed to really show our glee when we do that.
That's silly because, you should celebrate every win.
Yeah.
And when you watch the professionals, when you watch the Worlds or the Scotties, if the skip makes one of those shots, everybody jumps for joy. So, I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, when I made a good shot, I was happy because I made a great shot, and
but for me, I was always surprised if I actually made this really good shot. But so I want to celebrate that, and you just have to be careful.
And that's what we have to do. We have to celebrate all victories, whether they're large or small. You got up, and today I'm so happy. I did all my batting, what I wanted to do for the last couple of days. It's all done. Everything's made. Wonderful. That makes me happy.
Well, because it's done.
Not everybody's a domestic goddess like myself. But I enjoy when I get things done around the house because I feel like that's my job. Like you have your job, and when you get stuff accomplished in your work, you feel good at the end of the day. Well, I'm the same in my home. When I get the things done and I I have a mental list of things that have to be done. And when I get one step done, second step done, I'm just elated. It makes me happy. Other people might say, who cares? You know, leave the bed, whatever, like my daughters.
Well, on the weekends are when I try to, and people say, well, you shouldn't try, you should just do. Well, I would love to just do, but sometimes I can be easily distracted, and that makes me happy when I'm not doing all the stuff that you enjoy doing. I
I
like
know.
when it's done, but I really think I was a princess in another life because I don't want to do it. If I could pay somebody to do it, I would. And when I'm home in Toronto, I pay somebody to do that.
Well,
But
good.
here in Florida, I have not found anybody
And
that I
there you
want to have.
go. And that's what makes you happy. And that's
Yes.
what I'm saying. If doing housework and being tied to your home is
Yeah.
bringing you down,
Yes.
then do something about it. Instead of having 4 Starbucks coffee during the week, cut it down and take that money and pay somebody, even once every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
It's a big help.
It's
And
a big help, and it would make you happy coming in.
happy,
This is
yeah.
it.
And then you have
Smiling because it's
time-
clean. Yeah.
You have time to do other things.
Yes.
So my husband used to say that all the time about his work. Like he would pay somebody to take care of the yard because he's out making money on the weekends.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to him to pay somebody to mow the lawn, and he doesn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but he gets to come home and enjoy it, and that
Yeah.
makes him happy.
right. So
Yeah.
you have to think about those things and put things into perspective. What makes you happy? How can I be happier? Really sit down and think about it, make a list. And if things are really bringing you down, then, change them, because like we're not getting any younger. You're here once, try to enjoy as much as you can and enjoy your life.
Yeah, what's interesting? So coming back to Florida this time, I don't have a car. And so we're hoofing it everywhere, and that's fine. So the other day, my friend and I went to the grocery store, and we walked over, and it's only about a mile away. It's not like really, really far. So we got to the grocery store. We bought a little bit more than what we anticipated. So then
Uh-oh.
we'd have to carry it home. And I said to her, you know what? Because my joints are sore, I walked one way, but my hips couldn't take it both ways.
Right,
And I said,
right.
it'd be really nice if I ran into one of my neighbors, that would make me really happy. Anyway, but at the time we were in the store, and when we finished, there wasn't a neighbor in there that I recognized. So I went to customer service and I asked them to call us a cab, because I said, I know it's not far, but you know what?
Yeah.
I can't carry this stuff and walk home.
And
Walking home would have been, even with nothing, would have been
a challenge.
Yeah, because it's taking about a half an hour to walk, because I can't walk that fast because of my, my joints. But anyway, so the gentleman at customer service ended up, calling me a cab, and he said, oh, it's going to be 15, 20 minutes, because where the grocery store is, I don't know why, but you never, ever, ever see a cab there. So there's nobody hanging around. There's nobody getting dropped off where they can take you. Never. I never see it. So anyway, we're standing at the front door waiting. Doesn't a neighbor come in?
Really?
And I was like, oh my God. So I acknowledged her, and she goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm waiting for a cab. She goes, I'll take you home. Just give me 5 minutes. I said, take as long as you like.
Perfect.
Went over to customer service. They said, cancel the cab.
Perfect.
And then, so that was perfect. So she drove us home. Well, then yesterday we're going out to dinner and walking. It's the same plaza, so we're walking the same mile. And we started walking, cutting across one of the apartment buildings. Don't I run into one of the neighbors going out? And so I was chatting with her for a couple of minutes, and then asked her where she was going. And then I said, oh, is that in the same direction as this restaurant we were going to? Anyway, she goes, I don't know. Let's go ask my husband. So we go and ask her husband. He goes, that doesn't matter. I'll take you. So he said, I'm going one way, you going the other. I'll just take you where you want to go.
Yeah, it's
So
not.
it was nice, but it made me happy. But also, Andrea, what the point was, you put it out in the universe, things that you would like.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, things start coming back to you. But you got
yes,
to put the positive vibes in order
right.
to, have
Exactly.
things happen.
Yes, yes. That's
So,
right. Make yourself happy in the morning by putting it out in the universe, what you
oh,
want.
and I love the fact that you said that, because in the morning, I always go to the mirror, and when I'm getting ready to brush my teeth and wash my face, and I always say, "Oh my God, you're looking great this morning, Linda." And then I go, "Man, you're really aging younger every time I see you." It's like, because I want those wrinkles to reverse and everything else, but I start building up myself right from the get-go in the morning.
Don't let your guests hear you do that. She might call a loony bin.
You know what? It's okay as long as I'm happy, because in my world, I am number one.
That's right.
And in your world, you have to be, because if you're not happy, all you're doing is reflecting all of those bad vibes onto your
Yes,
family. And
yes,
they don't even know why you're not happy.
that's
They might
right.
have started off their day being happy, and all of a sudden you put everybody in a down position.
And it happens. Yes, if
Yes,
you're
it
not
does.
happy, it does. And it's not fair to everybody around you, and communicate. Like a lot of times I'll say, like I have a really bad headache today. Like I'm,
Yeah.
because my kids are used to me being very uplifting, and they walk in or they walk out, hey, how's it going? How was your day? And they leave the house every morning. I'm always saying, have a great day, and my daughter that's a teacher, I say, remember the young minds you're creating, and the good you're doing, and enjoy your day, and I love you and all that. So if that doesn't happen, it throws them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's easy
but
when
you
you're feeling off.
got to just explain that or
Yeah.
communicate so
Yes.
that it doesn't become something hurtful,
Yes.
because they might think it's them,
Yeah.
or you might say something offhand and it hurts their feelings, and
Yeah.
it's not fair.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, ladies, I hope we
Happiness.
inspired you to be happy.
Yep. All begins with you.
Yeah,
So
find
if
ways,
you're not, find it.
find it.
Now, we're going to be next week talking again, going on this journey of self-discovery of how you can make yourself be a better you. So I hope you join us next week. I'm
Yes,
Linda,
I'm Andrea.
and don't forget to
Like
subscribe.
and share. Please share. Someone needs to hear these messages.
Yeah. And
Thank
we
you.
can't do it without you.
Exactly.
So thank you.